Before we start the video, I have created a community Discord for old school RuneScape players and everyone is more than welcome to join us. We have weekly events, giveaways and we do bossing together, so if you wanna join more than 500 old school RuneScape players to have a chat and hang around or just chill with me, the link is in the description. Okay, let's start the video. I'm getting alert right now, right here. I'm not even kidding. This is the most classic thing I've ever seen. I think there's a bug right now where players are invisible, and I think this has something to do with this. See, people are smart, using telekinetic crap to get the items. Oh, you see? There it is. I knew it. Invisible players luring people at GE. Well, boys, congratulations. You're on a video right now. How much I made with this? Oh yeah, okay, almost 150k. Hey, I'll take it. Okay, let's start the video. Hello, I am Kriibus and I love rings. I think if there was a high score on who clicked on the rings Wikipedia page the most in the last few years, there is no doubt in my mind I would be number one. See, mom, I always knew I would be good at something. I have looked through every possibility to get all the rings. I have memorized every stat for every ring, and most importantly, I have a freaking entire series dedicated to collecting all the rings. So I feel like I am capable of convincing you and Jagex to fix the newest 4 rings in old school RuneScape into something so much more better than they currently are. Now, the initial idea was to test out all the 4 rings in the beta worlds Jagex set us up for, but then I quickly realized the rings are so freaking boring design and add almost nothing to the video, so I'm just gonna mess around today and talk with you guys. We'll do glues, we'll do bosses, and everything in between. First of all, and the most obvious thing is that out of any equipment slot in the game, we don't get that many new rings compared to things like armor or weapons. In fact, we only have a little bit over 60 rings in old school RuneScape, and about half of them are cosmetic items that offer no unique bonuses and no unique effects. So that realistically leaves us with about 15 rings that players use for combat stats, or they have a unique effect that allows players to do something special. That's not a lot. So when we do get new rings, in my opinion, it would be important that these rings are unique and not just copy-paste of previous rings. And that brings us to these new rings we're about to get. Firstly, let's go over them and see what they offer. All 4 rings are basically an upgraded version of the current Dagannoth rings. Archer's ring for range, Seer's for mage, Warrior Berserker for melee. And the new rings are Ring of True Blood, which is a direct upgrade to the Berserker ring. Then we have Ring of True Ice, which is the Seer's ring, Ring of True Smoke, which is an upgrade to the Archer's ring, and finally the Shadow ring, which is an upgrade to the Warrior's ring. Now, first of all, thematically, I don't see how any of these go together at all. Not once have I thought that the shadows have anything to do with the slash bonus in this game. If you don't know, these rings comes from the Desert Treasure series, and in the questline there is 4 different magic spell types: Blood, Ice, Shadow and Smoke, and all of it is related to the desert. However, the Dagannoth rings come from the opposite side of the world and is related to the Fremenniks, and you guessed it, these 2 things have absolutely nothing in common. Now, combining these 2 sides of the world together wouldn't be such a bad thing in general, but Jagex is very keen on trying to make the lore of the game have at least make some sort of sense in the past 2 years, and I tried to find any resemblance to Fremennik and Desert, but I just couldn't, because there isn't any.
The beauty is, being the lore guy, if I say, yeah, that's
yeah,
the
what you say
pronunciation,
goes, it's fine.
You can't disagree, can you? Like,
That being said, it's not the most important thing to me, and I wouldn't be opposed to the Dagannoth rings getting an upgrade. But wait a minute, Kriibus. Don't they already have an upgrade? Yes they do. Thank you so much for pointing that out, my dear subscriber. All the Dagannoth rings can be used with an imbue scroll to basically double their stats. That's it. And that's a newer version of that ring with better bonuses, and when that was released, people were extremely positive on the changes to give a new outlook on those rings. And now we scroll forward to today and Jagex wants to do the exact same thing again, basically adding another imbued scroll on top of those rings, and I think that's a mistake because the potential to discover something really cool and unique is being missed out on. Now, before I delve really deep into this, this was actually put on a vote, and even though it was a very close vote, 49% of players voted on wanting just another imbue scroll on top of existing Dagannoth rings, which, I don't blame because, me get extra 1 max hit, me happy is a very solid argument to be made. But I'm gonna try to change your mind today. Now, let's look at this closely. We have the Berserker ring, which gives 4 strength bonus. Then we have the Berserker ring imbued, which gives 8 strength bonus. And now Jagex wants to release Berserker ring volume 3, which gives 12 strength bonus. Now, I don't think I have to dive extremely deep into stats for you to understand that this is a lazy game design. We have something new and exciting coming out, and this new ring doesn't excite me as much as I hoped it would. And this basically goes for all the other 3 rings as well. Essentially, version 3.0 is a teeny tiny bit better than the version 2.0. But what if each of these rings had an interesting unique effect attached to it instead of getting 1 max hit and making my bossing 3 seconds faster now? To get to that, I think we have to look through current unique effects we have on rings to get a better understanding of what to expect. For instance, Ring of Endurance. Firstly, it gives you 0 stats, but it has a very interesting unique effect. The ring can be charged with stamina potions and it has 2 effects. If you drink a dose of stamina potion, the ring will activate and drink another dose as a charge, effectively allowing you to restore 40% of your run energy and giving you the stamina potion effect for 4 minutes. And secondly, while the ring is equipped, it will reduce your run energy drain by 15%, essentially working almost identical to full graceful outfit. And yet, even though it gives 0 combat stats, it's used heavily in multiple places. You have Giant Mole, where it requires a lot of running. You have minigames like Volcano, where it's essentially best in slots. You have God Wars dungeons with the new 7-0 methods in Bandos and Saratomin. You have skilling activities like Volcanic Mine, where you're required to run a lot. And most importantly, people use this in completing clue scrolls, where the entire purpose is to run around the map. You see how essentially one simple unique effect allows the ring to be used in so many different scenarios. You have PvM, skilling, clues, minigames, and even questing, and all it does is give you extra run energy. It's very simple yet very effective. Let's look at another ring, Lightbearer. Before that ring came out, people thought it was the weakest raids reward yet to be released. I can now without a doubt say it's one of the best rings Jagex has ever released, as someone who basically never takes it off on his main account, and it has the most simple, unique effect ever. Your special attack restores twice as fast now. That's it. But that simple effect opened up to so many possibilities. Firstly, again, it gives 0 stats, but players realize that sacrificing combat stats for a good effect is always 100% gonna be worth it. So for instance, the ring is most commonly used in places where you can obtain it, raids 3. Every time a room is completed, you get all your special attack back, and that allows for more interaction with all the weapons that you use there, like Fangs, like Garry's Partisan, Sarite Crossbow, Dragon Claws, Blowpipe, and so on. So you see how it integrates into another system as well, not just on the ring slot. Another thing I never thought would happen, but it's the best in slot ring to have while hybrid PKing. Most of the time these fights last for a very long time, up to 5 minutes. And sometimes even more. What's also interesting is that your special attack restores to full in 5 minutes. What this ring allows you to do is restore it to full in 2.5 minutes, and that gives you more spec to use against your opponent. Now, instead of using AGS twice in a fight, you can use it 4 times, and that is a massive advantage over other players, which has made this ring with again 0 stats the best possible ring you can have in the fight. Another places this ring is used is like Slayer bosses like Sire and Hydra, Dragonite Kings, again God Wars bosses if you want. This ring even goes to skilling activities, which it was initially designed for, I think. Using your Dragon Pickaxe and Dragon Axe special attack twice as much is a massive upgrade, so minigames like Temporos or Guardians of the Rift get so much easier. I mean, even the newest weapon that comes out with Desert Treasure 2, the Soul Reaper Axe, is heavily placed on the fact that you can use your special attack, which we can assume that the Lightbearer will make this weapon even better than it currently is. And we even have things like fight caves, where a very long fight is made so much easier if you can use twice as many blowpipe specs. And again, I come back to the same point how a ring that has a very simple unique effect is used in so many different scenarios, but imagine if Lightbearer was just like a ring that gave you, I don't know, 12 strength bonus. All of these concepts would be lost immediately. Yes, like I said, you could get an extra max hit, but in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't really change anything. So, okay, Kriibus, you're talking about these unique effects a lot, but you haven't given us any ideas what those effects might be. And you're right. So let's go over some ideas I had that I think would make these new Desert Treasure 2 rings so much better than they currently are. I have 5 unique effects to showcase you today, but I know for a fact you guys are smarter than me, so if you have any cool ideas yourself, please write them down in the comments. I read all of them because I have no life. Okay, let's just start. Now, before I present all 5 ideas, keep in mind that I think the ring should not have a very powerful unique effect, but still fill in that niche area that you're willing to sacrifice raw stats over it. My first unique idea is for questing. Now, I do understand the Ring of Endurance kind of fills that space for questing, as you are running around a lot. but this is something different. I assume by this point you have done, for instance, waterfall quest over 20 times, at least in your lifetime, maybe even more. The idea of the new ring could be somehow that it lets you skip a single step in your quest. You still have to do all the important parts like fighting the final bosses, talking to the people who you started the quest with, and so on, but in some scenarios, maybe like an NPC is saying, "Hey, Kriibus, can you go get me this specific item?" And while wearing the ring, it whispers in your ear saying, "I heard your wish for this item," and the item appears in your inventory. Like, imagine a scenario in Legends Quest where you forgot to take one of the gems to the deep dungeon to access the final boss, and had to waste like another 10 minutes banking for that one single item. Well, if you're wearing this ring, this could save you that 10 minutes. It's nothing overpowered, and you would still have to interact with the quest like everyone else, but a nice tool for people who have either done quests before or don't enjoy them so much. Next unique idea that could be implemented is a ring only meant for minigames. It has a unique effect depending on which minigame you enter, so for instance, if you play Temporos, you can charge up the ring with the power of Temporos, and as a result, your rewards are slightly better after the game. This means you would still have to wear the ring during the game, and you can't take advantage of it by just equipping it when you fish for rewards. Let's say for Winter Dot, the ring makes it so no matter what your HP is, you will always take 2 or 3 chip damage per turn, allowing people who drain their HP not to suffer while playing this. Even if you play Guardians of the Rift, the ring could maybe allow you to mine fragments a little bit faster, or it could be a ring that revitalizes only dead minigames like Trouble Brewing, Castle Wars, Tempo Trekking, Sorcerer's Garden, giving those minigames either more rewards, better experience, or just incentivizes players to play those minigames more often. Next up, we have glue scrolls. One of the ideas I had that could really sell on glues a lot more would be to have a ring that gives you a small chance to skip a glue step while completing it. So if you're doing a 6-step elite glue, you might have like a 10% chance to skip steps at any given moment. The principle here is that it's nothing too powerful where it's completely gonna break the glue meta, but it's powerful enough that you wanna have this ring while completing glues. Also, this will mean that you want the ring on you at all times, not just when opening caskets, meaning even when you have to go on a wilderness and so on. On average, your 6-step glues now turn into 5-step glues. Next up, I found this idea from a community member, and I really liked it. Essentially, it works like any other PVM ring, but its purpose is to absorb your necklace and give 50% of its bonuses. Now, off the bat, I would say this is the most OP idea I've ever seen, but I just love the concept of this so much that I just had to include it. So let's say you have Amulet of Torture. What the ring would do is eat that amulet forever, so this would work as a sinkhole as well. And in return, you would get 50% of Amulet of Torture stats on your ring slot. Now, I understand this kinda goes into the territory where the rings are currently with overpowered stats, but the difference here is number one, that we could send the price of items like occult necklaces, glory amulets, fury amulets up, because let's be honest, these items are crashing like hell right now. And secondly, the ring will give you an option what kind of boost you want. Currently we have 4 boosts on 4 rings. This however will make it so you have 1 ring, and once that amulet is absorbed into the ring, it stays there forever. And if you want to swap it out, you will not get the necklace back. Maybe even have like a specific stats for each necklace. So like, I understand 50% of occult necklace is kinda OP if you think about it. That is 5% extra magic damage, which is insane, don't get me wrong, as like full ancestor gives you 6%, but I feel like that's an issue with the amulet itself, not the ring. So maybe for that specific item it could be taken down to 2 or 3% like it currently is with the Ring of True Ice. Oh my god, that's such an awful name, but okay, sorry, I had to say that again. But yeah, I think this could be an interesting concept that takes the current idea we have with the rings and improves it by adding a sinkhole and giving players more options. And my final unique idea is very simple. Make a ring that gives Kriibus max cash whenever he wants. No, I'm joking. Actually, it's straightforward. A ring that passively restores your prayer points. Yes, that's it. Think about it. We have a ring that restores your run energy, we have a ring that restores your spec bar, and with the new prayers coming out with the Desert Treasure 2 quest that drain your prayers so much faster than the normal prayer book, this could be a good incentive for players to sacrifice stats over utility. It could be again used in PvP, in PvM, even in some skilling aspects and minigames. It could have a use in so many different ways. If you do activities like raids, you kinda have to make a decision. Do I wear Lightbearer to get more DPS in long run, or do I opt in for the utility ring? It should be balanced to a point where you want to make a decisions on what you like the most rather than what is the most OP thing. So let's say you're doing a 5 caves run, which is around 45 minutes on average. During that run, this ring should restore maybe up to 2 prayer potions, maybe 3 if it's long enough, so you can save an inventory slot on all your friends, but also sacrifice the benefit that you would get from a TPS ring. Again, you don't want it to be powerful enough that every other ring loses value, but instead make decisions on what you prefer. And that's about it. Let me know what you think of these ideas, and please, I know for a fact you guys have some better ideas than the ones I gave out in this video, and I would love to hear them. In conclusion, I don't know what else to add, honestly. I guess not everything has to be a life lesson, so I guess please Jagex consider adding better rings in the game so I can drag out my series longer. Okay, I love you all, bye, also subscribe. Mwah.